John Proctor has a relatively low status in the eyes of the theocracy. Danforth is the apex of the hierarchy. Whilst JP struggles to keep charge in his own household, Danforth has the power of life and death over the whole of Salem. John Proctor: how do you go to Salem when I forbid it? Danforth: I should hang 10,000 that dare rise against the law. Rehearsal technique: discuss desired power balance with actors and then refine the scene for performance in terms of use of space, eye contact, voice and physical interaction. Two characters contrast as they represent two different themes of the play. Danforth represents the corrupt government in power, theocracy, and John Proctor represents common man struggling to assert his individual in society, in the face of this corrupt theocracy. Danforth: this is the highest court of the supreme government of this province. John Proctor: a faction against you, then I must find it and join it. Rehearsal technique: a tableau exercise. Divide cast into those who are members of the theocracy, abusers of power, and those who represent the common man and individual. Theocracy group must create a tableau that represents the corrupt theocracy with Danforth at the apex. Common man group must create a tableau that shows how the man struggles to assert their individuality with John Proctor at the centre of it. John Proctor has high moral integrity. Danforth likes to state that he is moral and just, but in fact he doesn't have the high moral standards that John Proctor does. John Proctor won't accuse his friends and admit to witchcraft, which shows moral integrity. Danforth, on the other hand, begins to doubt the girl's testimony, but won't halt the executions as it undermines his authority. John Proctor: beguile me not, I blacken all of them, the very day they hang for silence. Danforth: postponement Hill speaks of floundering on my part. Performance concept: loud volume, determine the ashamed facial expression. Loud volume, determined tone, ashamed facial expression. Danforth: emphasis on my, to show how it's all going to reflect on him. Nervous tone, dismissive hand gesture. John Proctor feels guilt over the affair with Abigail and only admits to Danforth as a desperate plea to prove that she is deceiving the court and cannot be trusted. Danforth doesn't feel guilty when he sentences John Proctor despite his admission of the affair. John Proctor: I have made a bail of my honour. I have wrung the doom of my good name. You will believe me, Mr. Danforth. Danforth: she has spoke nothing of lechery. This man has lied. Performance concept: Danforth would use an upright posture, fist-binding gesture, and be seated at the table. Danforth's objective is to punish those named as witches and bring the society back into line, whereas John Proctor's objective is to clear his conscience of guilt and clear his name. Danforth: do you know that near to 400 people are in jails upon my signature? John Proctor: I have given you my soul, leave me my name. Performance concepts: Danforth would use emphasis on my to show his pride that he put them in jail. Excellent clarity and slow pace. John Proctor would use a pleading tone to show his desperation, defeated facial expression, closed eyes, furrowed brow. Danforth's motivation is to preserve his position and protect his name and status. John Proctor's motivation is to clear his name and have forgiveness from Elizabeth. Danforth: this is the highest court of the supreme government of this province. John Proctor: the steady manner he displays now does not spring from an untroubled soul. Performance concepts: Danforth uses threatening tone, upright posture, narrowing eyes, facial expression. John Proctor avoids eye contact with Elizabeth due to guilt, uncertain tone, and slow pace. John Proctor is the main character in the play, and Danforth becomes the main obstacle in John Proctor's journey. John Proctor seeks to save his life and resolve his guilt, but once he confesses, Danforth's demands for it to be written and named to the church antagonises John to rip it. Danforth: do you sport with me? You will sign your name, or it is no confession with me, mister. John Proctor: I have confessed myself. God does not need my name nailed upon the church. Performance concept: Danforth would use a demanding tone, defiant facial expression. John Proctor would use a pleading hand gesture.